Holy Father, it is wonderful joy that we
have to be in your presence at this moment. We give you thanks for this another day. We give you thanks for good health that you provided for us and safety to be here. May all that we do or say tonight be for the betterment of our community. May we do it seeking your guidance as we go forward. Bless the time we have down. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
To play the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When the board opens, please record your presence. Everybody recorded their presence. Madam Clerk.
19 present, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a quorum. The work session is in order. And since we don't have the rezoning, we won't be hearing any rezoning requests tonight. They are having a meeting this month, so I think we might even be getting called up on our rezoning next month. So.
6, 7.
We have 6
I
rezoning.
think so.
Yes, we will be getting called up.
The county some money.
Next order is public comment on agenda-related items. We have a signed-up sheet. Then after that, we'll have non-agenda related. If anyone who wishes to sign either of those sheets, you're more than welcome to do so.
I'm sorry, I missed a call on that. Sorry.
We have one person signed up, and I'd like to invite Maureen Christie to come. And before you begin, ma'am, I'd just like to let you know each speaker is allotted 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself and state your address for the clerk's electronic record. And just ask that you make your comments directed towards me and not any member of the commission. And if there's any clarifying questions, that'll be in order.
Okay. Hi, I'm Maureen Christie. I live at 3311 Warren and Glass. And the reason why I'm here tonight is I want to say thank you to all of you in Sullivan County for writing a resolution for the support of the HJR 182, the Nuclear Family Act. I know a lot of times you hear complaints from people, but a lot of times you do not hear, or most often you do not hear thank yous. So that's why I'm here. And then most importantly too, I come to you today as a mom, a wife, a grandmother, to let you know that I love my family and country, and now I live in the state of Tennessee, out of Tennessee. And for far too many years, the nuclear family has been under attack within our country, and we must do all we can to protect it and uplift it. Not only is the nuclear family statistically proven to be the best for a child's development into their teenage and adult years, it is God's design for the family. As your constituent moved, as I said, to East Tennessee, for the long health conditions, values that are here, by the families that are here, I thank you for being a leader in protecting the nuclear family and promoting what is God ordained. So I hate being nervous, but that this is something we need to celebrate. I hope other states will get on board with this. We need it to shine and let it be a beacon for the future, so that way it's a tradition that never be forgotten and always be upheld. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Christie. Thank you for joining us again. Always welcome. Anyone else seek recognition for public comment? Anyone at all? Seeing none, without objection, the public comment portion of the agenda is closed. Did you press your mic? You're looking at, I thought you was pressing your mic, Commissioner Crawford, I'm sorry. Public comment is closed. Next order is review of old business and draft resolutions. Recognize Commissioner Harvey on item number 1.
This resolution is just to establish a 3-year audit plan for Observation Mountain Park. And this is really just, first I want to say congratulations to the committee, Observation Audit Committee, and the manager, and all the positive things that have been occurring there. Going forward, since we have a 30-year lease with TVA, this is just something for future commissioners so that each group of commissioners has an opportunity to take a look at the operations and do an audit and make sure that that's something that they want to continue going forward. So just a check step. Thank you.
You've heard the explanation of item number 1. Anyone seek recognition on item number 1? Questions for the sponsor? And this will be taken up again on our regular scheduled calendar next week. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Harvey on item number 2.
Thank you. This resolution was created to establish a capped budget of $200,000 to fund selected nonprofits in Sullivan County. And if this resolution is not approved, it will be a legacy decision by this commission to defund all of our nonprofits in Sullivan County, excluding our fire and rescue services, which we currently fund at approximately $4 million annually. And for your information, the commission approved $403,000 for remaining nonprofits in the 22-23 budget. The commission approved $438,000 for these nonprofits in the 23-24 budget. And for the 24-25 budget, the nonprofit budget was cut to approximately $300,000. So this resolution in the amount of $200,000 actually cuts the nonprofit's budget an additional $100,000 for 25-26. And the proposal will cost the county absolutely zero in additional taxes, since the proposed amount is actually lower than what was spent in last year's budget. Many of the nonprofits which this commission has supported in the past provide valuable support to our local schools, our courts, and our law enforcement. In fact, some of the agencies actually save our local schools money by providing skilled professionals to provide needed services in speech and hearing and specialized counseling services for abused children, students suffering from suicidal ideation, and traumatic grief counseling. And additionally, while food insecurity is difficult for many Americans to comprehend, it is a real and tragic reality for many of our school children. So to fill the gaps for these children on the weekends, our local food bank prepares thousands of backpacks for these kids to take home. So they have healthy nutrition over the weekend, and they don't start back to school on Mondays with empty stomachs. I feel sure that Commissioner McMurray, he's not here tonight, but he can attest probably to many other examples of how our courts utilize many of the nonprofits in our county as well. And of course, we should also remember this commission's overwhelming support for the proposed baby boxes, which was a nonprofit, which Commissioner Ward so passionately presented to this commission in a resolution just a few months ago. Following President Trump's advice, let's use a scalpel and not a sledgehammer to make the needed cuts. For this reason, I'm proposing that the nonprofits for our parks and museums be funded with the lodging tax dollars. I've checked with CTAS, and they have confirmed that this is a perfectly legitimate use of these funds. Any other nonprofits will need to submit requests for funding annually, and these requests should continue to go through the administrative committee, which will review them as needed and subsequently make a recommendation to the full commission for approval via resolution. And then once the $200,000 cap is reached in the 25-26 budget year, no other nonprofit requests will be accepted. Thank you.
You've heard the explanation. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Cross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have read over this a few times, and I think I know we all understand, but for future commission's sake, I'd like it put on paper in this resolution that first responder and firefighter money would not be included in this cap. Would that be an acceptable on the day of amendment that we could add to that?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vanover.
Commissioner Harvey, you spoke to Matthew Johnson about the lodging tax money that happened out here.
Yes, I did.
Is he in favor of that?
Yes, it was.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner King.
Thank you. Ms. Harvey, last month, when you read over this, you stated that first Mr. Glover, Commissioner Glover, and myself manipulated this. Can you explain this, how you come up with we manipulated this?
Commissioner Harvey.
Yes. So, and I believe I sent you an apology about this. So I did want to make it clear that the understanding at the time was that not only was the budget reduced 50% last year, but with the expectation that in the 25-26 budget, it would go to zero. And that was not the case. So my apologies for that.
Okay, accepted. Thank you.
I'm going to recognize Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Harvey, I'm going to cut your mic back on because I'm sure they'll have questions, so please leave on. Commissioner Ward.
Thank you. Just to clarify a statement in that speech you made, the baby box wasn't from any county money. It was all donated through the baby box organization, so it was county tax dollars, county nonprofit money or anything used there. Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate that, but it was a nonprofit, and I think we all think we're encouraged at how that was going to help the community and help law enforcement. So that's what I'm.
Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We all get passionate in here about things. We all have beliefs in what we need to do and what we need to stand up for. But, you know, I want to read this. It says, let me also remind everyone why this resolution was created, and that is because every commissioner on this commission needs to have the opportunity to voice their opinion and to vote individually and publicly on whether to fund or defund selected nonprofits in their community, excluding EMS and fire services, just like Commissioner Cross asked for. Reducing this funding to zero should not be the decision of two committee chairs who somehow make a decision to direct finance department to send out any funding request to any nonprofits this year based on solid assumptions they made and conclusions they reached based on any decisions, any claims were made in last year's budget discussions. The evidence is clear that these communities, as well as the executive committee, did not officially vote last year on this year, and the decision was completely to fund all nonprofits this year to take it to budget to zero. I handed out last night to all the administrative members minutes and all that stuff from last year. There's also a packet there that I had, and that was one of the reasons why we took a roll call vote and all these things. on each request, and we set to that for 2.5 hours. And Ms. Harvey did send an apology and a text message there. I guess to Commissioner King, I think most of you copied this. But like I said, I don't like to be accused of things and no one else in here does either. And like I said last night, we all want to do what we can for nonprofits. But we also have county employees that we need to stand up for. And they're expecting a raise. And we've got to look at the big picture here. And just like I said, if you've got money to give away, that's fine. But if you have to raise taxes to fund something, I don't go for that. And I don't think our taxpayers send us here to go for that. They send us here to represent their best interest at heart. And the meeting we had last night at the administrative meeting, it got a little heated over some things, and there was some, discussion there, but I'll address that toward at the very end of the meeting. So, Ms. Harvey, I understand what you want to do, and I think it's a good thing, but I'm sorry, I can't support it.
Commissioner Harvey. Please respond.
Well, I think I've already taken care of the first issue. I'm sorry that you feel like you have to dwell on that, but as far as me, it's passed. And it was disappointing to me when I learned that the requests weren't being sent out because it was a zero budget. And that was not my understanding. And it was not the understanding of several of the budget committees that I talked to. So I didn't get anyone that confirmed that. But my understanding was that they were told not to send them out from the finance department. So that's why I chose to submit this request. And it's very clear that if $300,000 was spent last year, and we're spending less than that this year, or the budget's being reduced even further. There's no tax on that. I mean, that's not increasing the property taxes. And what I'm trying to do here is to provide information to show that nonprofits are not giveaways; they are investments in our community, and it helps our community members that want to hopefully look at the leadership in this commission and the fact that we will be making wise decisions, and hopefully they will also support that. It takes everyone working together, not just local government, but certainly I think we have a responsibility, especially when we're looking at not-for-profits that benefit all of the citizens in Sullivan County. And Commissioner Glover, I know that you have a heart for the people who we want to help with reduced property taxes, and pretty sure that many of those people would tell you that they benefit personally from many of these nonprofits. So there is a relationship there, and I think that we have a responsibility to try to assist that when we can.
Commissioner Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Harvey, just a quick question. Who will have the final say on what organization receives the funds?
I think it should come to the full commission for approval.
But, okay, well, I'm just, my thought is if, we struggled through that last year in a very small committee. Going through a larger committee is going to be even more difficult. So I was just trying to think through how that would play out.
Yeah, well, this is new, we've been doing it this way, but my thinking was that you'd have a committee that made a recommendation, just like you have any other committees, and they make a recommendation and then submit it through resolution, and then the full commission reviews it, either yes or no.
So you think creating a nonprofit committee then, or what do you think? What are your thoughts then?
I put administrative committee because it's an existing committee, and they have had responsibility for that in the past.
Mr. Cal.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Cal.
Thank you. Last year, when you cut the nonprofits, 50%, there was a few brought back, some they voted for it to their 100%, and some didn't. And I thought it was a very unfair process. I mean, if you're gonna do one, you're gonna do all. You have a rule, it applies to all. You just don't pick and choose and put them back in and out. So I suggest whoever does that needs to do that.
Commissioner Aker.
I was gonna say amen, sister. Because at the end of the day, as the gentleman who tried to shepherd the last two budgets in here, everything is a recommendation until it gets on this floor. And then it can go haywire in a real quick second, with a motion and a second. And so, you know, we have to try something and try to stick with it. Darlene's exactly right. You know, we were sent a plan by one committee, and then it was adjusted based on people's feelings. And unfortunately, it wasn't a across-the-board thing. And it never will be. I mean, it's why I preach four things: facts, figures, rules, and regulations. We all have feelings, and we all have friends, and we all have, like Commissioner Glover said, we all get very passionate about certain situations. But I also try to take the view of the 158,000 people that live in Sullivan County. How can we make it the best county? And there is an argument to say to invest in certain nonprofits. And there, with all due respect, there's probably certain nonprofits that do more good for ones than the others, so it's hard to lump them all in. But it does bear witness that we spend a lot of money, taxpayer money, on nonprofits. And I have said that from day one. I think taxpayer money should be on nonprofits. If I want to vote, if I want to donate to the nonprofit, I will donate to the nonprofit. But there are certain nonprofits that, and that's where the fire and rescue and all that is in there. But at least I think we have shown in the last year that we've made a stride to decrease the amount of taxpayer money. Will we ever get to zero? Probably not. And I think that's what Ms. Harvey's trying to at least say. We will cap it at a certain amount. If 10 come, 20 come, 30 come, we will look on. But again, she said it's a recommendation. And when everything gets here on this floor, those recommendations can be done in a lot of different ways. So, but I don't think we should be afraid to try to do something different. And that's the biggest thing is we are trying to spearhead how to spend taxpayer money in the most judicious way. And pay raises are a part of it. School system, sheriff's office, the highway department. It takes a lot to run a county, and so we do need to be very cognizant of how much money we spend in all areas. No one gets elected by the pledge of I'm cutting your money on a local level. They may get there on a federal level, but not on a local level. Because these are our friends and neighbors. These are the people we go to church with. We see at the grocery store. And so, if we stick to the facts, we usually can have a very good argument. And so, yeah, I mean, it's something that we have 3 committees. We all make our recommendations, and it does come to the floor for a vote on everything. And at that point, who knows what's going to happen. So.
Commissioner Cross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a follow-up question to something that was just said. It just kind of hit me. Let's say we pass this resolution with a $200,000 cap on this. It comes down to budget season. We are in the last budget meeting, and we start recommending from the floor this, that, and the other. I guess my question is for Attorney Street. At that point, if we go over 200 at that point, is this resolution binding, or do we change it at that moment we amend the budget?
say that you could do that with your vote.
Okay. So in other words, if we're at 200 and I would like to give this group an extra 10,000, we're now at 210, that then would nullify this resolution, the cap that it would set. Is that correct? Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition on item number 2? Commissioner Iverson.
Actually, with Mr. Cross's thing there, it says allocation of $200,000 within the general fund. It does not cap it. It just says this is a $200,000. So it's kind of a starting point to some degree. It's like Commissioner Akers said, I mean, at that point, anybody can say anything, but this does not cap it. It's just $200,000.
Commissioner Mando.
I've got a follow-up question too. One thing that keeps rolling around in my head is you want to possibly use some of the occupancy tax money to fund some of the parks and some of those tourism attractions, which two things come to my mind. It's a gray area, but probably legal. We think so. But the other question in my mind is we don't want to keep raiding that account from the tourism that Matthew Johnson is in charge of. Do you have any estimation of how much money will be coming from that account to fund the tourist nonprofits? And have you talked to Mr. Bailey about what's available in that account?
I did ask Mr. Bailey, but he's been overwhelmed lately, and so he plans to get back. I was going to get back with him next week, and I'll bother him this week with it. So, I think it's going to be for the parks, the current parks and museums that we have right now, which is under 100,000.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Harvey, I will take item number 2 at next week's regular calendar. That takes us to the end of old business. Next order is item number 3 under new business. Recognize Commissioner Stitt on item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to amend the 24-25 circuit court clerk's budget to approve the replacement of the sound system in the child support courtroom in Longville Justice Center, the Chancery Law Courtroom in Bristol Justice Center. The current equipment is 30 years old, it's broke, and cannot be repaired. This would amend his budget for $58,000 up to $58,500 to replace that existing equipment. We would be asking for waiver of rules on this, so we can move on and get this project taken care of. We already have the bids in, so we can get this fixed.
You've heard the explanation on item number 3. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Jones on item number 3.
This came before the budget committee last night, and we voted unanimously to recommend it to the full commission. And Ms. Bonner told us that the $58,500 was in the general fund, and it wasn't an issue to fund that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Commissioner Cowell.
Thank you. Mr. Stitt, could I be a co-sponsor on this resolution?
We'll put everyone who votes in the affirmative as a co-sponsor.
And the circuit court clerk is here. If anyone has any questions for him, if you have anything you'd like to share about the resolution, you're more than welcome, sir. Anyone else seek recognition on item number 3? Commissioner Stidham moves item number 3 to next week's regular calendar, where you'll be moving waiver of rules on item number 3. Is that correct, sir?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 4.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution is for our opioid funds. We have, right now, we're putting $485,533.39 for an opioid abatement trust fund to the nonprofits let me go through them here and find them. You all should have received, or everybody should have got these emails on how much money we've actually had come in and what we've given out. So this last time we approved $125,000 to Families Free for the benefit and use at the Northeast Tennessee Residential Recovery Center, $188,523 to the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department, $194,780, and this was contingency on the 2025 first quarter receipts of the abatement fund. $177,213 to Bridge to Shore. Then we went on down and we gave $100,000 to the Children's Advocacy Center. So we vetted all these people, we listened to them, they filled out their applications, they all qualify, so we might run a little bit short. We're supposed to get an additional funds in March. We currently have $429,370, and the state of Tennessee projects the first quarter payment of $503,000. So we'll have the money. Like I said, they're all vetted. We've done our homework. They qualify, so they're a good organization.
You've heard the explanation on item number 4. The floor is open for discussion on item number 4. Does anyone seek recognition? Recognize Commissioner Jones.
This came before the budget committee last night, and we unanimously recommended it to the full commission.
Anyone else
I
seek?
do want to thank Misty for sending that out today. If you looked at your emails, it's in there with some additional information also.
Anyone else seek recognition on item number 4? Commissioner Crosswhite, what's your desire?
Waiver rules, please.
Commissioner Crosswhite moves item number 4 to next week's regular calendar, which is to be presented on waiver of rules. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Means on item number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is just a resolution of support of a House joint resolution in the state designating June as Nuclear Family Month. We have a local resident that actually came up with this and wrote it, and it's going down there through state capitol, and she's going to be here next Thursday to speak on it. But I won't bore you with all of the things, except I did want, and this is something you all already know, but I felt like for the record, this is also in the resolution in the state, that it says fatherless families are 4 times more likely to live in poverty than married couple families. Children without fathers are 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances. Children from fatherless homes are more likely to have mental health and behavioral issues. 60% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. 71% of high school dropouts are from fatherless homes. Fatherless youth are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated. 85% of youths in prison come from fatherless homes. And in a 2016 study by Pierre Lakeman on the psychology behind 56 school shooters, 82% of the shooters were raised in an unstable family environment or without both biological parents together. So I think everything else kind of speaks for itself, and just going to ask if, there are some others that said they wanted to be as co-sponsors, and so if I didn't get to add you on there, I apologize, but I'll get you on there. And I wanted to ask if we could put this on a consent agenda if there was no objection.
You've heard the explanation on item number 5. The floor is open for discussion on item number 5. The sponsor moves consent calendar. Does anyone seek recognition? Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you. Can we, excuse me, we got everybody to vote.
Yes, everyone in the affirmative, absolutely, will add you as co-sponsors.
Commissioner Harvey.
Yes, I want to be added as co-sponsor. Thank you.
The sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 5. Is there any objection to item number 5 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 5 is placed on consent calendar.
Without objection, recognize Commissioner Glover on item number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to apply for and accept and appropriate funds from the waste reduction grant for the solid waste department. Mark came Tuesday morning to our finance committee and talked to us about this. Also, grant writer, or grant coordinator Sherry Vault, gave us an update on this. And what this is, it's a $625,000 grant, and it's 40% match, which Mark has got in his 25-26 solid waste budget. And if he gets this grant, it's going to be used to buy some equipment to pick up paper from our schools for recycling, haul that back and forth to the recycling plant. Also, it's going to be to buy some recycling infrastructure containers for folks to drop their stuff off in to be picked up. And she feels pretty sure that we have a great opportunity to get this, and I think Mark does too. So if you guys want me to read the whole thing, I will, but anyways, therefore be resolved, the Commissioners of Sullivan County, February 2025, the Sullivan County Waste Department is authorized to apply for the Tennessee Department of Environment Conservation Waste Reduction Grant in the amount not to exceed $625, and which is, the grant is awarded to Sullivan County, is authorized to accept and appropriate the grant funds to purchase equipment required for establishment of new recycling collection sites, improving existing recycling collection, and improving processing of and preparation of recycled materials for transport and marketing. 40% matching funds, $250,000, shall be allocated from the 25-26 solid waste budget, and officials are authorized as appropriate to execute documents to complete the grant application and acceptance of grant funds. About 5-6 years ago, when we first started our first round of the finance committee, Mark came on board at that time as solid waste director. He inherited and I'm not saying this to be funny, he inherited a mess. He inherited equipment that was wore out. He inherited trucks that was falling apart. Commissioner Crawford was involved in that, Commissioner King, and some other folks was involved in that with Mark. He's really worked hard on getting us where we need to be, and it's going to be a good thing for Sullivan County in the future. So if there's any questions on this grant, I'll be happy to answer them. If there's something I can't answer, Mark's here. So I'll be happy to answer anything you got.
You've heard the explanation on item number 6. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Vandover on item number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that the facility is almost complete. It's should open, I think, end of the month, maybe the first of next month, Mark, somewhere in there.
Yeah, probably Tuesday.
But I was up there the other day, they got the balers installed, and we're almost ready to start using that facility. And we're going to be one of the few counties in the state that has an operation like that. So I just hope everyone realizes what an advancement this department's made and how well it looks throughout the state. So Mark's done a great job. It's a great facility, and I'm sure he'd be glad to host anyone who'd like to come see it. Right, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Iverson.
Just want to say, I think it's fantastic. Thank you both for doing it. Yeah, it's got a good eye. Yeah, as a coach on.
All those voting in affirmative will be added as coaches.
Very good.
I know that we'll pull money out of his budget for 25-26. Anybody got any problem with this being on consent, or do you want to leave it as individual?
All it takes is one objection. That's all it takes.
Just put it on consent.
I'm going to recognize Commissioner Jones.
Again, on the budget committee, heard this last night and recommended that to the full commission. I thought we were going to have recommendations from the committees on the bottom of these agendas. That was the discussion, that if a committee recommended something, that would be on the bottom of the agenda, so we'd see it when it got to the floor.
I'm checking on that after the meeting.
Yeah. And I think this is a program we're probably going to recommend that it be written up and submitted to CTASC and to the County Commission Association as award-winning. What we have, I brought this up before, but with some others, but all of us that go to these meetings, all these counties get recognized for projects they do. And we never do submit anything, and we do some great things in Sullivan County. I mean, from back in the day when we took over the dog shelter, when we had all those issues, and we rebuilt it, and now it's doing a fantastic job. I mean, there's projects, all kinds of things we've done in Sullivan County for our constituents. So, thank you.
Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 6. Is there any objection to item number 6 being placed on the consent calendar? Without objection, item number 6 is placed on the consent calendar.
Thanks, sir.
Is there any resolution that previously presented that sponsor would like to move theirs? Mr. Croswell, you wish to put item number 4 on consent?
Yes, please, if I can.
Okay. I was going to go back and ask her that you got to finish the meeting, put it on there. I caught wind of that discussion, so I was going to give you that opportunity real quick.
I was gonna wait till everyone was finished.
That's also slang for before I forget. Is there any objection to item number 4 being placed on the consent calendar? Without objection, item number 4 is placed on the consent calendar. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Iverson on item number 7.
Thank you, Chair. Last year, I'm not sure if anybody remembers, but it was a pretty contentious budget cycle. A lot of things going on, a lot of the school stuff going on. Yeah, smooth as silk. One of the things that happened during that timeline is the judges came to the executive committee and made a big presentation, and it was a large number that they came with to try to equal out the pay and fix that. The executive committee sent something to the budget committee, and at the time, it was just a bad time. And we actually removed all those things from the table. Several things were removed from the table. This was something that, with talking with Mr. Bailey and trying to figure out how we could go back and look at it, because they actually got together, and I really applaud Larry, because he got the executive board's recommendation, and he got with the judges and had a conversation with them, and that number went down drastically. And at that point, they thought everything was good as far as they, judges. And this is one of those I can't say anything about because I messed up. I wasn't there. I had to miss one meeting, and I wasn't there during that meeting. So it got taken off the table, and there was a discussion about it. I wasn't there, but I apologize for not being there. But this is one of the things that it was a big problem for them. It's still a big problem for them. It will fix it in next year's budget. We'll also correct it this year. And hopefully you guys can support it. It was a big issue. There was already been 4 other people, Calvin, and several ones from the different budget committee last night wanted to be added as a co-sponsors. I wasn't able to get them on here now, but I will get those on there. And if anybody has any kind of questions, I'll see what I can.
You've heard the explanation on item number 7. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Still on item number 7.
I don't have a question, I support this. We were there last year, so Mark, if you would put me on that. We do have a typo in the budget increase set. It should be by the Sullivan County Commission, not TY the Sullivan County Commission. Will you get John to fix that, please?
Okay, you got it.
The other John.
Where is that at? I'm sorry, again.
And other to be resolved.
Recognize Commissioner Ward.
I didn't know what Gary said. I strongly support this, and hopefully we can get this squared away. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
All in the phone.
Commissioner Glove.
Mark, I support this, but I also have reservations about it, because I'm gonna tell you why. What are we gonna do about our other county employees? If we pass this, say we vote against it, we're gonna make the judges and their employees mad. If we vote for it, and it passes, what are we gonna do for our other county employees? Are we feeling good about giving them a 5% raise? Are we gonna be able to make it happen for them? Because if this resolution is passed, that means 100% that these employees are gonna split $29,503.44. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is, and it's not all of their employees. What happened was they had several different, I call them secretaries, I'll give them the wrong name. And actually, they should probably make them office managers, because what they do is not a secretary's job. They keep the court going in a lot of ways. They keep all of the documents going through there, keep judge's schedule going. And they've had a lot of people there for several years, and there is no continuity of the different pay scales. So that was what they brought forward last year, is just there's no continuity, and there's no way that they can get it, because, of course, they're talking. It's not all of their employees, it's a very select few people that's doing this. So it's not getting a massive raise for all of them. It's straightening out a problem that they have, because there's some making $2 or $3 an hour less than the other ones, and this makes it a level playing field. That's what they've asked. That's what they asked for, and that's what they did.
An example I'm making is, this lady sitting up here, going to her office, with those folks lined up trying to get.
I understand.
Scott Murray back there, he's got guys out there that, you know.
Yes, sir.
And that's, I just want to make sure that we can take care of our other county employees.
Well, I'm right there with you, I really am, and I agree that there's a lot of county employees that need to be taken care of. This is something that the judges brought forward as a problem. This is an issue that all the judges came together to the executive committee and said, this is a problem we have. They sent the recommendation to the budget committee. The judges came back and talked to the budget committee and said, this is what we've done. We've negotiated with Larry, and this is the number we're down to. And I feel that it was something that, because of all the other issues going on with the school department and the money there, that this was something that was overlooked, because the $29,000 fix is relatively small in our budget. And it's a great process for those judges to have all of it fixed and have those people brought up to the right scale. And that's why I was happy to bring it forward for them.
Okay. Commissioner Akers.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Glover and I was trying to decide who's going to push the button first to speak out against, not necessarily against it, but yes, as the person sitting in this budget meeting, the frustration I have is, once again, like Commissioner Glover said, picking and choosing. And I will admit, the one time I fought to pick and choose was for a public safety situation on the sheriff's department. And it wrecked them. They continuously come in here and tell us how it has helped solve the issue that they had. The other thing, what I also fought during that time was, we don't need to dictate the hourly rate. To me, that is not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to fund the budget. How they dictate and they use that money, that's what they should decide to do. And every time we put an hourly rate in our resolution, I feel like that is not what our responsibility is. I also, this is a personal thing, I think 90 days before the actual budget to be passed to do a pay raise, again, hypocritically, we did the sheriff's office 60 days after we passed a budget. And we had a tremendous loss of overhead, a lot of openings. And as we know, it's a safety issue, and it's a very contentious issue to this day, because we're spending a lot of money down there. But that is one thing we have to do, is for public safety, for the officers and for our constituents. And so it's not that we're against the pay raise, you know, it's the timing. It's 90 days, and then when you set the hourly rate in here, that's just not, I mean, I think that's what that's their responsibility. Tell us how much you need and how, because it is, and listen to the judges. Look, we all want to keep the judges happy. They have different, over the years, different people doing different jobs. They have state employees in there that do the same job. I get it. But to me, this is the conversation, in my opinion, at budget time for us to vote on, so.
Yeah. And I understand exactly what you're saying as far as putting the hourly thing on there. I have no problem with striping it out. The only reason we put that there is to show you how that number got there. So that was their negotiated settlement, or not really a settlement, that's their negotiated plan. And they came forward and said, this is the number that we're going to get them to, and this is how much it would cost to get there. I put that in there just for the calculation part, but we can strike that out. I'll easily take that out. What the dollar figure was, kind of how that's generated.
Commissioner Van.
Commissioner Glover, Commissioner Akers makes some good points. There's always unintended consequences you gotta watch out for. But this is a unique problem with the judges' administrative assistants. Judges, by their own admission, are judges, they're not good office managers. And we've had some things happen with these office managers where someone leaves, and then the person who replaces them gets paid the same as the person who left. And that means some of the newer employees are making more than some of the older employees. And that's a problem in a situation like this. So the judges have asked for this to be fixed. Mr. Bailey and Judge Compton have worked out an agreement. This is what they've asked for. This would fix the problem. And I think they have come up with the rate, not us. So it's just an answer to a problem that they asked the finance department to fix. So it's just a pay equalization program to try to fix a problem. So yeah, and I hope it will. I think it will.
Commissioner Harrison. I'm going to ask to talk about this next week, this waiver of rules, and since there's so many people that have asked me to be co-sponsors, I'll see anyone votes in the affirmative, put on this as co-sponsor. And I'll try to have the names that I can give them before me.
Sponsor moves item number 7, next week's regular scheduled calendar, to move waiver of rules. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Vanover on item number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 8 is a resolution to establish a deadline for resolutions to be filed for the development of the agenda for the workshop or regular commission meeting to provide more clarity as to action to be considered before each commission meeting. This resolution asks for a Monday noon deadline before the work session and before the regular commission meeting to have resolutions in. And the only exception would be if there's resolutions that are deemed an emergency, and the finance department, Mr. Bailey and Chris Davis would be the ones to make that determination. I know this has been addressed before in our rules packet, but it seems like it's not working very well. So this is just an attempt to try to get some information out in time to think about it before we have a meeting. So be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the explanation on item number 8. Floor is open for discussion. And it looks like it is open for discussion.
Wow.
Recognize Commissioner King.
Mr. President, what's the difference with this one and what we tried to do before?
What we've done before is not working.
Is this one working?
Well, it's the only way to know. You have to reset it sometimes, and if it's not working before, it's not going to work correctly until you do something. So this is just an attempt to try to get the resolutions in so we can get them to us a little bit sooner, so we can, you all may be able to think after the meeting starts when you read the resolution, but it takes me a little bit longer to ponder everything. So hopefully we'll get our information sooner if we get it to John a little bit sooner. Like I said, I don't know if it'll work or not. It's just,
But you know, a lot of this is coming from the departments.
right, and we need to make this clear to them too.
Right, and that's what's happened a lot of times in the past. They come in here, and, even our mayor's brought stuff in here before. Yeah, I'm not knocking on him, but it was important stuff that he brought it in here, and we never seen it until it was laid on our days.
That's not good.
And it's not good. I mean, it's not good for us because we don't know what we're talking about.
This is just one way we're trying to fix that. So it may work, it may not, but I think if you don't try it.
Well, you gotta have some teeth in it, and I guess that's my question. What kind of teeth are you gonna have then? If you don't get it on time, are you just not gonna be able to put it on the agenda?
Unless it's an emergency, right? Yes.
Well, and who's gonna clarify if it's an emergency or not?
Like I just said, only emergencies would be something that dealt with money, I'm sure. And that would go to the finance department, Mr. Bailey and Ms. Davis. It's in the resolution.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Wood.
You remember that resolution you brought in here a few months ago, cut us back to 4-day work week? You said that was the dumbest thing you've ever brought in here?
That I'm saying.
I think this one trumps that one.
What's wrong with it?
Like you said, there's been times that we walked in here and things laying on our desk and 15 minutes, and even while we're sitting here, it's been handed out to us.
You didn't like that, did you?
No, but who's going to determine what's what? I mean, like you
Start
said.
in at 12 o'clock, don't fit on the agenda.
And you're saying the Monday before the work session.
Right.
But
Unless it's an emergency.
then after the work session, have you got to the next Monday to add one on before the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
And, just a clarifying question, if you don't mind, when someone asks what constitutes an emergency, it could also be, say, a resolution with money attached to it, it's time sensitive, that would qualify as well, correct?
I with that part, yes. Another one, time sensitive matter, as deemed by the county attorney to be considered an emergency. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
I agree with Commissioner Glover.
Somebody hold the roof up.
March 13th.
I guess it's not good on the consent calendar, right? So,
No, I would vote for it to be on the consent. I'd like to be a co-sponsor. But I would say that if it gets laid on our desk, then we don't take any action.
I agree.
Until either the following commission day, unless it's deemed an emergency by somebody. But we've got to lay down here with no sponsors, no co-sponsors.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to do business.
This is an attempt to fix that.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. You want to be a co-sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Akers.
I mean, first, amen, brother, I'm all for it. I mean, battling this, we've all been battling this. I mean, a few months back, I wouldn't let a bunch of resolutions be read because there was no seconds on them. That's the whole point. We're trying to, my time is not more valuable than anybody else's time in here. But at least respect my time to be here when we can and be prepared and do what we're supposed to do. Now, I think we're going to kill you to that, like I did Commissioner Iverson for a while. This resolution, I think, needs a little more work. I like where you're going. But this is, remember people, this is our chamber. We have an elected chair that we should empower to be able to make those decisions or something of that nature, It is frustrating. But again, what constitutes an emergency on my part doesn't necessarily constitute an emergency on your part. And it's the budget stuff, it's everything over. Well, I feel that this is very important, it's an emergency. Well, what constitutes that? I think the state of Tennessee tried to pass a law a couple of years ago, we're supposed to have stuff 48 hours or something ahead of time. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, I worked on a whole rules package, they got voted down at the last second, we're trying it again. I mean, the rules are only as good as if we're going to respect the rules and the process. So, yeah, I mean, amen, brother, I'm glad to see it. I hope we follow through.
Be glad to accept any amendments you can make that.
Commissioner Cross.
Thank you. I agree, it needs to be done, because just like everybody else has said, I'll come in here and have things like this. My question though is, I guess, point of procedure. And I hate to call Attorney Street again, because I've asked him once before, but I'll ask him again. Is it not proper, I guess, any commissioner in this room could bring an item from the floor, is that correct?
Yes.
And that would be 0 warning, 0 nothing, I move this item be adopted at this moment, which in that case, again, waives any rules or anything that we passed. So that's the only issue I have with it, is at that time, if a majority of us, I guess a majority would have to agree to hear that at that moment, so that could override that. That's my only issue, is
I think it'd be an answer to maybe some of the concerns. If someone does feel like it's an emergency, you can always make an amendment from the floor or a resolution from the floor. But I think this would be something to try to make us more efficient and try to get the information out sooner and make it better. So hope we can support it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't really have a question, except I just want to say thank you, because I think this is an effort for us to have our agenda before we're here, so that we can actually look at it. And I understand that things can get really hairy, but I am all about trying and trying again and trying to set some effort. So if I could be added as a co-sponsor, I would appreciate it.
Commissioner King.
Thank you. Assistant Chairman, I'd like to nominate you as the resolution sheriff, put your teeth in this, so that when the resolutions come in here, that, it's gonna be up to date, everything's gonna be fine, and then we won't have to worry about it. And you can get you a committee together to help.
I just want to get on the badge. I just want to get on the badge, is all I want.
Get elected.
We'll get you a badge, that's what you need.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a quick question for the sponsor. On that fourth line there, now therefore be it resolved that all resolutions or statements of intent to make a motion be submitted for the agenda by Monday. Does that mean we have to have any motions that we plan on making before Monday as well?
I don't think that's what that means. It looks that way, but I'll be glad to strike that out.
Yeah, I would probably strike that out.
Good catch. I would be glad to make that amendment.
Commissioner Baker.
Thank you, Chairman. Not to be, just a minute horse, but talking about policy, so on Tuesday, we got the first draft of the agenda with 4 items on it. And then today at 3:56, we got the final updated agenda with whole 9 items on it, So, like I said, I support it, and I just hope we follow through with our actual rules and processes that we put in place.
Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, I just want to push my button, because everybody else is pushing. I need to get in there. All I can say is good luck, Jack. Good luck. Pray for you.
And I'd like to ask everybody, if you send something to John on past the deadline, don't get mad at him if it's not right.
We won't tell you anything.
We're a team. Takes all of us. Yes. Mr. Glover.
I'd say there's probably gonna be months if we come in here, we ain't gonna have anything to do, because we won't have no resolutions but Tuesday, and they'll all be laying on our desk, and we'll be going back on.
But we'll have something to do. Just something tells me we will.
Okay, yeah, just check.
We never are at a lack of things to do. Mr. Vanderbilt.
All I can say is, though, we've had a lot of fun with this, and I love to have fun, but I think you don't try to fix a problem, you're not gonna fix it.
I agree.
And this is just an effort to try to fix a problem, and I guess I can't slide this through a consent calendar.
Let's have it here the next Tuesday.
I'll just move to next week's calendar, please.
You want to run it on labor?
Waiver rules.
Sponsor moves item number 8, next week's calendar. Waiver of rules. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Ward on item number 9.
I'm a little bit intimidated to attempt to read this, and not sure what's about to happen. This was turned in, I think, there's a few changes that I think need to be fixed on this, and Larry, maybe you can help me out on this, but it says a resolution to amend 24-25 general fund budget to approve replacements, computer equipment in Kingsport General Sessions Court and Kingsport Justice Center. I think that probably needs to read Kingsport Juvenile Court. Right?
I wasn't told it's strictly juvenile.
Greg Walters Court?
Yes.
That's juvenile court. I think if we say General Sessions, we'll be talking about just Greg Walters Court. So
Okay.
I just want to clarify so there's no confusion. I've actually seen those computers, and they're not even hooked up with the rest of the systems down there. So they're so outdated. I mean, they probably got 10 years on Mr. Bailey. So I mean, they're a little bit over. The cost is $27,300. I think it's going to come out of the general fund. I know Larry's worked with these folks down there, and the money's there to try to help them get updated. So I'll be more than happy to answer 2 questions.
You've heard the explanation on item number 9. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Aker on item number 9.
Commissioner Ward, I'm just trying to ask for clarification, and Larry may have to ask it. It says resolution to amend the 24-25 general fund budget to approve replacement of computer equipment in Kingsport General Sessions Court and Kingsport Justice Center. But everywhere else it says whereas computer equipment in Sullivan County General Sessions Court operating Kingsport Justice Center is outdated and out of.
I think it needs to say, Kingsport Juvenile Court and the Kingsport Justice Center.
Right, it's the one that's
Not
not responsible for, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Exactly.
I'll do Bristol side, well, you're giving Kingsport computers, where do we get?
No, that's for the Sessions Court,
Okay.
or the Juvenile Court, I'm sorry. But it's in the Kingsport Justice Center. Right.
Anyone else seek recognition on item number 9? Mr. Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many computers are we getting for $27,000?
I think it's computers and printers.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think I'm not sure how many actual employees they have in there. It's more than one.
No, thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition? Mr. Ward, what's your desire for the resolution?
Whatever rule.
Sponsor moves item number 9 to next week's regularly scheduled meeting on waiver of rules. That takes us to the end of our resolution calendar. Next order is announcements, and I'm going to say something. I was going to try to figure out a way to say old business, but you're not old business, Mr. Carr. I was going to recognize your birthday. Happy birthday to Commissioner Carr, and also Commissioner Locke.
Would you review who's on consent?
I'll be happy to. It was items 3, 4, and 6, if my memory is working with me.
I thought
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5,
Yes, 4, 5, and 6, consent calendar.
not 3. Thank you. I just missed one there.
Recognize Commissioner Cross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had an answer earlier for Commissioner Vanover. You asked about the parks money, and I was digging around and couldn't find my papers quick enough. We moved on. But it was Bristol, $35,000 last year, Kingsport, $35,000 last year. And I remember adding back, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Glover if he won't mind, I'll be here. We added back plus city. How much was that, wasn't it? We added-
They took it out. They took it
Oh, they took it back out. All right, excuse me, I wanted to clarify that. So it'd be 35 would be what you're looking at there.
It was originally 10 for Blood City.
Yes, and I had 10 written down, but I knew there was a change that had not been made.
But there's a new sheriff, they might take it this
The other, I had a follow-up question on one thing that I didn't get to write down, I'm sorry. After, you don't have to tell me right now, but the names of those groups that money's going to, I couldn't find it here. Thank you. Email? Thank you. Thank you.
How much we have.
Commissioner Jones.
I laid on your desk a couple little flyers. One is our reorganization. We're all members of this party by election. And how important is this? Hamilton County and Williamson County both had hard right, ultra conservatives come in and take over this and elect their people to the county party. The state's very concerned that this would lead to changes in local primary laws and at the state level. So it's important to come on the 27th. You can pre-register the way it's on there. But, and then the other one, on Monday, April 7th, we just gave this lady $500,000 to represent Sullivan County above all the other work she's doing for this region. And she's going to come to Kingsport at noon and share that information. So I'd encourage y'all to, if you can, try to come and hear what she's going to be doing for Sullivan County. Thank you.
Anyone have any other announcements? Upcoming dates or anything like that?
Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did everyone get this resolution packet laying on your desk? I appreciate whoever ran that copy off and put it on your desk. I appreciate them doing that. We had some copies for everyone tonight to hand out. During our administrative meeting, we had a request for some money for first responders at Bloomingdale, Sullivan West, and Warriors. They came and asked for $30,000 apiece, and said it was for employee raises and so forth. But there was some confusion last night about those first responders being involved and being in the 5-year plan. And we kind of went, I ain't gonna get into all that. But anyway, I just wanted to go over this resolution with some of the new commissioners that were, of course, you're not new, but this was done before you got here. And please look over it and get familiar with it, because I have a feeling that there'll probably be more coming forward. This county commission worked extremely hard on making this happen before. Mr. Bailey sitting over there, he's the man that's got the ink pen that writes the checks. And he can tell you how rough it was in here every budget cycle with people asking for things for the fire department. So we worked hard, putting them all on the same page, giving them basically the same amount of money. And Andrew Cross, Commissioner from Bristol, he worked hard on this with us, of course, Akers, and at that time, Dr. Hutton, when he was here, Joaquin. And that's the first time it's ever been done in Sullivan County history, is to treat everybody equal that's in the fire and rescue. And I think we up there, it's $10,000. If you look on the next page, it's $10,000 that we added to what they were already getting. And if you look down under that, it'll give you an example of what we accomplished. When you look at the fire, back at that time, the current was $1,907,961. When we done that, it went to $2,075,290. And then over to the right, it says rescue and first responders. Total increase was, the current rate was $1,113,224, and we went to $1,559,635. And I think it was a good accomplishment. Kingsport Life Saving Crew, when we did the increase for them, we didn't allow for an adjustment for the person that was driving and helping with the driving the truck, because Kingsport pays half of that, and Sullivan County pays half of that. And Commissioner Locke brought that to our attention. We went back and added an amendment on and put that in there for Commissioner Locke and the Kingsport Life Saving Crew, because they do have some expensive equipment and they need some folks driving those things that's qualified and able to do that. And then when you go on over, it shows on the next page, if you look at the top, that's the fire departments, and give you an example. Bloomingdale Fire Department back at that time was 73,834. And then you look down at first responders, it was 92,4. And then when you turn on over, you'll see a list of fire departments and first responders, and even the fire truck and rescue truck. If you look at the top, Avoca, 138,664, Bloomingdale Fire, 138,664, Bloomingdale First Responders, 184,8. And then if you look on down, you'll see Warriors, 138,664. If you look down at the bottom, Warriors First Responders, 184,8. And the same thing with West. And we worked extremely hard on that. It passed the commission. I think we had one person pass it, and that was Miss Blaylock at that time, and she was a little under the weather. But that's the first time that had ever been done, and we've not had any problems at all in the years past. And I can understand, Bloomingdale's request, and I can understand the situation. And the fellow came forward and addressed our committee last night. He said those folks hadn't had a raise in 12 years. Well, if they hadn't had a raise in 12 years and we're giving them that kind of money, I don't think that's county commission's fault, and I don't think it's our fault for that not happening. So I think they need to go back. But Commissioner Locke asked the young man that come from Bloomingdale to bring back a, kind of like a financial and so forth for that committee. And it was also brought up, I attended the budget committee here yesterday, and it was also brought up that maybe those 9 employees become full-time county employees. And the mayor mentioned that at the meeting, that it was probably time for us to step up and make that happen. And I'm leaving that completely up to the mayor. If that's, of course, Bloomingdale's not married, that's Commissioner Van Over and Commissioner Means and Commissioner Horn's district and the others. That's entirely up to them. But if we're putting that kind of money down there and those folks are not getting taken care of, that's not really our fault. I feel very bad that they, that they haven't had a raise, but that particular program was asked for back, I think, in 2016, or maybe the wife can touch on that, but that was something that they asked for specifically to happen on that end. And if you look, I think we're most generous in what we're doing, because if you look at that list, local response, $70,589. Bluff City Rescue, $70,589. Postal Valley Rescue, $70,589. Kingsport Fire Saving Crew, $224, $279. So everyone from Bristol to Kingsport was happy with what we did. The Bristol Fire Chief, the Bristol group, Kingsport Fire Chief, we invited them all here. They were all here and spoke with us, and we sat down and discussed all this. And believe it or not, Bristol and Kingsport gave up some things to be on the same page to make us all work. And we all put it together. And I'm leaving that request from the mayor. That's his decision. If he wants to move forward with it, maybe he'll get with the commissioners in that district and talk to them about it. But in my opinion, I think it's time that we make them county employees. If we have to invest a little bit extra money down there, get them took care of, or do whatever we need to do, I think that's something that we need to look strongly at. And I appreciate what those people do. And every fire department's not the same. A lot of fire departments answer calls within blocks and small radiuses. Piney Flats, the example of Piney Flats Fire Department, they might not answer, they might answer 10 calls a year or 20 calls a year. But look what they're there for. They're there for the Piney Flats Industrial Park. And when they answer a call and go into that park, we're talking about hundreds of jobs. We're talking about a lot of lives. We're talking about, the stability of the county there. And Hickory Tree's the same way. They might go 25 miles when they answer a call. They go all the way through the offset. They go everywhere. Some script up here goes all the way down, and it's on the lower end. It's an all team effort, and it's all these guys working together, and ladies too. And I'm proud of what they do. And we did this March, 17th day of March, 2022. And it's coming up on some time to start looking at it again, maybe later on. But I think it's something that we needed to share, because there was some confusion last night of who belonged and who didn't belong in the 5-year plan. And the money's in the resolution, and that money's divided. And like I said, I think it's been a good thing for Sullivan County. And a lot of these departments got $10,000 above. Can you imagine how many fundraising events they have to do to get that $10,000? So it's been a good thing. And I want it to continue, and I hope everybody else does. But like I said, the part about making those folks county employees is completely up to the mayor and the commissioners in that area. So thank you for letting me explain that. And like I said, whoever brought this forward, I appreciate them doing that. But we had all copies in here, so thank you a lot. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Still.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 3, the resolution for the sound system. Commissioner Cross will be presenting that next week. Commissioner Cole and myself will both be out of town next week. So just wanted to put that in your notes.
All right. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Cowden.
Commissioner Glover, I was going to mention those 9 employees, first responders, First Sullivan, West Fontaine Fire Department 3, and Warriors 3, and then 3 in the Bloomingdale.
Yes, ma'am. About 9 total.
Mr. Ray.
Thanks, Sharon. Just a couple updates. I don't know how many people drive 394, but they have moving a lot of dirt on the A.Y. McDonald plant over there, so, that's moving right along. Been going quite a bit vertical with the new substation there at BTS, as parts and pieces come in, but it's taking a great shape. And then tomorrow, we're having a ribbon cutting at the D.R. Horton Hudson Terrace, right there across from the Speedway. And remember that's a TIF project. And they have gone vertical for over a year, and so I guess now it's good weather, we're trying to have the ribbon cutting there. 4 o'clock is watching, so just letting you know some things going on.
And a special thank you from last month. I was traveling last month. I didn't worry about it a bit. Commissioner Vanover, Chairman Pro Tem Vanover did an outstanding job, as we do. Thank you. What was that? Something snarky? Anyone have a motion they wish to make?
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, all those in favor say aye. Stand adjourned Thursday next, thank y'all.
That wasn't in the. Oh, my goodness. How you doing, Archie?
Go down there and get the truck.
No, I think sure you get